On July 18, 1946, a white mob shot a 37-year-old black veteran named Maceo Snipes at his home in Butler, Georgia. A day earlier, Snipes had voted in the Georgia Democratic primary, becoming the only black man to vote in the election in Taylor County. For this, he was targeted and lynched. Snipes had served in the U.S. Army for 2.5 years of World War II, and after receiving an honorable discharge, had returned home to Taylor County, Georgia, to work as a sharecropper with his mother. Snipes' family later recalled that he had received threats from the Ku Klux Klan in the days leading up to the election, but he still bravely went to vote in the gubernatorial primary on July 17, 1946. Just 2 years before, the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Smith v. Allwright had ruled it unconstitutional for political parties to hold all-white primaries, in which only white voters were permitted to participate in choosing the party's candidate. This established that Snipes and other black people were legally entitled to vote in the primary, including the Democratic primary, but many white Georgians resented the ruling, including candidate Eugene Talmadge, who campaigned on a promise to restore white primaries in the state. A staunch and open racist, Talmadge had been previously elected governor of Georgia on the Democratic ticket on 3 occasions with a segregationist platform and an open support of white terrorist groups, including the Ku Klux Klan. He once said, "The South loves the Negro in its place, but his place is at the back door." He said this in a 1942 campaign speech. When the primary concluded, Talmadge had won the party's nomination and received the most support in rural areas. When Taylor County votes were tallied, Talmadge had won all but 1 vote, and the white community members believed that Snipes, had known to be the only black voter in the county, had cast that lone vote of opposition. A day after the primary, a mob of white men, including a white veteran named Edward Williamson, arrived at Snipes' grandfather's house in a pickup truck and called out Snipes' name. Snipes got up from the table where he was eating dinner with his mother and went outside to see who was there, only to be shot multiple times at his own front door. The truck of men then drove away. Severely wounded and assisted by his mother, Snipes walked for several miles searching for help before he was finally transported to a hospital in Butler and admitted for care. According to his family, the hospital's segregation policies delayed Snipes' treatment for several hours. Relatives later recounted that a doctor told him Snipes urgently needed a blood transfusion, but could not get one because the hospital did not have any black blood to use. 2 days later, on July 20th, 1846, Snipes died. After weeks of multiple threats of further attacks, Snipes' body was buried in an unmarked grave, and several members of his family fled with their young children to Ohio. When local authorities investigated Snipes' shooting, Edward Williamson admitted to killing him, but claimed Snipes had pulled a knife on him when he went to the Snipes home to collect the debt. A member of a prominent white family in Taylor County, Williamson's lawyers believed at face value despite contrary assertions in Snipes' deathbed statements and his mother's witness testimony. The coroner's jury ultimately ruled that the shooting had been in self-defense, and no one was ever held accountable for Mr. Snipes' death.